Which of William's characteristics made Kate fall in love with him?
I'm obviously extremely funny and she loves that.
What does Kate think of William's cooking skills?
I'd burn something would overspill, something would catch on fire.
And why doesn't William like Stephen Fry's television recommendations?
Tiger King is rather good.
Be careful what you say now, because these guys, they're filming.
I know!
A decade of love and laughter. The days of stuffy royals are over. The newest generation of the royal family is showing that a crown doesn't have to stop you having a laugh, and that the monarchy can be pretty merry and modest.
I'm obviously extremely funny and she loves that, so it's really good.
You say so yourself?
Kate and William may have just celebrated their 10-year wedding anniversary, but they've been laughing together way longer than that. In fact, it was obvious that these two should have been crowned comedy royalty from the second they got together. Okay, more like from their first official interview together, when rumours were doing the rounds that Kate's college dorm room was filled with pics of William.
There wasn't just one, there was like 10, 20.
He wishes.
Seriously, they have such a well-known history of being jokesters that ahead of their 2011 wedding, The Telegraph got in on the celebrations by releasing a teaser trailer for what to expect at the nuptials. And even though it featured lookalikes, it was every bit as awesome as you'd imagine. But we're not interested in their romance. We're here for the love affair they share with comedy. Everything is a competition. One of the things that really makes us love William and Kate is how competitive they are. Not only does it make their royal engagements and interactions a little more interesting, but it makes them hella funny. For example, when Kate beat William in a sailing race in New Zealand in 2014, not just once but twice, she couldn't hide her pleasure and gave him this look. And his response to her victory was just as hilarious, as instead of admitting defeat graciously, he yelled, "We were sabotaged!" To be honest, that explains why William now tries to take every advantage he can when he has to compete against his wife now.
9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In fact, their constant desire to one-up each other has even branched over into more serious endeavours like art, even though that's something neither of the royals are actually good at.
Like the time William joked Kate had ruined a painting.
That's pretty much ruined the picture.
Before you blame William for being a bad sport and teasing his wife, he's also open to poking fun at his own shortcomings and lack of artistic talent.
Right. This is how you probably ruin a picture. Does it matter where I go?
You're allowed to go
Anywhere, yes.
It's very brave of you.
However, he's not the only one who can laugh at himself. Just because they're a pretty sporty couple doesn't mean they have a future as pro sportsmen. Thankfully, these two don't just wait for the cameras to be out before getting up to hilarious hijinks. Behind the scenes, they are just as funny. Life at home is anything but dull. They say home is where the heart is, and that's definitely true for Kate and William. But for this couple, home is also where the laughs are, even if it's at William's expense.
Do you need to roll your arm?
Do you know where it is?
No.
Seriously, just because he's the future king of England doesn't mean his wife is about to let him get away with bad behaviour.
What are you doing texting in the car?
Obviously, I stopped in a lay-by and have not texted whilst driving, because that is illegal.
Don't worry, William gets his own back. One of his favourite things to tease Kate about is her cooking, or lack thereof. During a gala dinner in 2016, William accidentally let slip that his wife wasn't the best cook. When Kate told someone that William had to put up with her cooking, he replied, "It's the reason I'm so skinny." But that's only because he isn't really keen to help in the kitchen, although he does try. Unsuccessfully, according to his wife.
I would say I'm getting better at cooking. Kate would say I'm getting a lot worse.
I didn't give you enough chance to practice, though, maybe.
Now that I think about it, that's probably the reason we found out about William's bad habit. In 2018, when the couple were opening a recreation facility for the UK military base in Greece, William reminded the soldiers not to eat pizza on the new couches. And it seems he spoke from experience because his wife quickly added, "You're a nightmare with that." And that's not the only thing about her husband that gets Kate worked up. When the couple was visiting a school to start their mental health charity, they were reminiscing about their own teenage years. But the prince took it one step further when he admitted, "Sometimes I still feel like I'm 16. To be honest, sometimes I still act like I'm 16." But that was nothing compared to Kate's response. His wife immediately added, "I still think you're 16. But that's not always a bad thing. In fact, even Kate embraced her inner child when the royals got a studio tour of the Harry Potter set.
The couple are seen learning some wand-waving techniques before they are tested on their moves in a pretend duel.
It's Leviosa.
But to be honest, we know they don't really consider each other childish. After all, they have children of their own, and it's proving to be quite the challenge. When their eldest son, Prince George, was born, William verbalized every parent's instant realization.
He's got a good pair of lungs on him, that's for sure.
And over time, George has kept William on his toes. We know this because of an admission William made while he received the presidency of the Sub Aqua Club in London.
I hope that one day my son George might follow in our footsteps. At the moment, bath time is quite painful.
Who knew the royals were just like us? Okay, well, we kind of had some idea after Netflix let us into their lives with its hit show The Crown. Although, as William mentions, it's a little awkward to see your own family presented on television.
I must admit, I don't know whether I should be proud or slightly alarmed about the number of winners over the last decade who have betrayed members of my own family.
Maybe that's why he asked a friend for a good recommendation of what to watch.
They tell me Tiger King is rather good.
Yes, I tend to avoid shows about royalty.
Why does it always come back to royalty? Even royal engagements aren't safe from bloopers. For many royal fans, the best thing about the royals is their various engagements around the world. It gives everyone a chance to glimpse their favourite monarch and reminds us about the real purpose of the crown, to protect and improve the Commonwealth. Sadly, there are still those who don't like seeing the royals in their hometown.
Do you want a kiss? Do you?
But just because these events around the world are important doesn't mean they always run smoothly. Sometimes they require William and his wife to learn some new skills, like sheep shearing.
She's not going to be happy with the haircut.
Thankfully, that's probably not something William will ever need to do again. But even boring stuff like taking pictures isn't always smooth sailing, and the Duke of Cambridge never misses a chance to lovingly tease his wife.
My wife's camouflage against the tree.
Although sometimes that teasing is just because he's a little jealous. In 2015, when the couple took part in a telephonic fundraising event, the prince overheard Kate chatting to a banker called Andrew and instantly seized the chance to make a joke. He called out, "Catherine, I think you can stop flirting with them now," before raising his eyebrows and smilingly telling the broker next to him that his wife was embarrassing him. But Kate has another hidden talent. She's not just a better salesman than her hubby. Surprisingly, one of the things that this couple needs to do regularly while working is dance. And while Kate has proved she's a natural,
and we see a few funny moments along the way,
William isn't as lucky. He sure likes to try. Then again, someone must have advised him against it because it seems his dancing days are over.
You know, I've got enough trouble with my dancing recently, so it's kind of best to keep away from that, to be honest.
Now that's a shame. At least there's always DJing.
A record on the DJ deck. That's where you run it back and forth very quickly. The staff says she was, well, fantastic. Prince William also gave it a go. He said he likes house music and rock and roll.
There you go. What's that? Somebody a good cat.
Or not. A hairy situation. We have a final treat for you. If you've been a royal fan for a number of years, you've probably watched William grow up. Of course, this also means you'll have witnessed the slow evolution of his hairstyle, or more realistically, its slow departure. And while his balding has been the butt of jokes for many years, the prince isn't fazed by this and even joins in every now and then. For example, when George was born, William didn't just comment on his impressive lungs as we saw earlier. He had another revelation about the newborn, admitting, "He's got way more hair than me, thank God." Even Kate can't resist the occasional jab at her hubby's hair. In 2019, after she'd had her turn sharing farm animals, this time alpacas, Kate was given a tuft of the freshly cut wool. She immediately turned to her husband and gave him the piece of wool, joking, "You need it more than me." They say the truth hurts, but for William, the truth is that laughter is better, and maybe that's why he's such a good sport about being teased about his locks. They're not the only jokers in the family. For more hilarity from the royals, check out our video about why Queen Elizabeth is the queen of comedy. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay awesome.